Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday morning. It is June 24th, 2024. So good to see you all this beautiful Monday morning touch point. You all, lots to go over, including the new forms that are already available in Transaction Desk. When you go into the listing template, you will see the new listing agreement already there. And then when you go into the buyer template, you will already see the compensation agreement between brokers, along with the addenda for compensation. And then we're in the process of updating all of the other forms and all that. But Monday morning, here we have it. Those forms are official. They are now available in Transaction Desk. They are available as part of the Texas Association of Realtors form library. But keep in mind that we're in the process of updating all of these links right here. So when you click on TXR 1101, this still takes you to the older form. But really the reason behind it is that they just released it. So give me a few hours. By the end of the day, all of these forms will be updated. It's a little bit time consuming just to update, 18 different forms, but there you have it. Bertina said, are they already our templates or do we need to update? So, if you have a personal template, if you've created your own personal template, then those are not going to be updated. You're going to have to go there and update those personal ones. Any team price office template will be automatically updated. So if you've gone in there and you've created your own buyer offer submission template, then you're going to have to go back in there and you're going to have to update those. Same thing with your buyer rep and agreement. I'll go ahead and create a video showing you how to update those. It's really simple, but you're going to have to go in there and update to include the short form. If you have any issues with that, send me an email, or if you want me to do it, send me an email and say, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this. Dan, can you do it? Takes about 5 seconds. I certainly don't mind doing it, but all of the personal templates are going to have to be updated. So we'll make sure that over the next few weeks, I'd even say few days, everyone's personal templates are updated. But what I will not touch is that if you've created your own buyer, submit an offer for a buyer, your own listing template, then I'm not going to touch those. You're going to have to go in there and update those. I'm happy to update the rep agreement and disclosure, the personalized one. That's really easy. But if you've created your own contract templates, then you're pretty much on your own on updating those. But good news, it's Texas Association of Realtors. They've updated everything. So all of the forms that we went over, they are all updated, which means that this week's contract proficiency challenge will be with the buyer rep agreement short form. Like we discussed on Friday, the second they made that short form available, the team price rep agreement ceases to exist, and we will update. From now on, we will be using the Texas Association of Realtors. You can use the long form, the short form. I like the short form a lot better. It is your choice on which one you want to use. I do recommend using the short form personally. But so good news. We're moving forward with change. So that is exciting. We are going to start by updating the new listing to pending ratio, the single best leading market indicator available for our area. We're going to go back a few weeks and make sure that all of the pending data is updated. And we are going to start by changing this 447 or 440 to 447. Let's go backwards in time a little bit more from the 3rd all the way to the 10th. And that's going to be 503. Let's go back from the 27th all the way to the 3rd. And that's going to be 510. Let's keep on going from the 20th to the 27th, and that's going to be 481, and we're going to keep on going until we no longer have to update anything. That's going to be 541, so we're good to go. We don't have to update anything. Let's go ahead and do a brief recap. 2 weeks ago, 1,251 new listings came on the market, a little bit higher than the previous week, 132 price increases, 1933 price drops. That's going to give us a 94%. That's the ratio between price drops and price increases. 206 back on the market. That puts us at 16%. 552 active under contract. Quite a bit less than the previous week at 587. We did have, I'd say, 3 good weeks prior to 2 weeks ago on the new listing to pending ratio, 0.79, 75, 73. And then, of course, that dropped down to 0.69. And that's because of the 447 pending. 2,488 open house 2 weeks ago. Already updated the open house for this past week from June 17th all the way to June 24th. 3,096 open house, highest since May 13th through May 20th. I don't know about you, but I'm seeing a ton of open house signs all over the place. It's really amazing. A lot of agents holding open house. Let's go ahead and start updating the new information. We're going to go from the 17th all the way through the 24th. I want to remind everyone that all of these fields, except for the pending, will lock at 11:59 tonight, 11:59 p.m. So tomorrow, you are going to receive a link and a screenshot to this new listing and pending ratio. Everything will lock except for the pending. The pending we'll update it, as you know, for the next 6 to 8 weeks. 90% of the updates happen within 10 to 14 days, but everything else stays locked. Let's take a look at how many new listings. We are at 1,113. Expect that number to reach 1,200 new listings. Let's go to price increases. I am noticing some builders starting to advertise price increases. Not reflected on the data. 119 price increases. What about price drops? 1,930, 94%. 2 weeks in a row, 94%. I expect this to bump up to 95%, matching from May 20th all the way through May 27th. What about back on the market? What's going on with back on the market? We are at 232. That's going to put us at 21%. The highest back on the market going all the way back to January 29th, all the way through March 5th. And even within team price, y'all, I'm noticing, and this is painful to say this, I'm noticing a lot of deals falling apart because of financing, last minute financing. Now, thankfully, a lot of sellers are okay providing extensions, but we've had our fair share of challenges over the past 2 weeks with financing. All of a sudden, lenders not responding, can't get a hold of the lender. That interest rate that was promised 30, 45 days earlier isn't available. Just a lot going on the lending side of things. That is why it's so important for you to partner with an amazing lender. You know who I recommend, Robert. He's amazing, but very, very important, especially in the listing side of things. Make sure you contact the lender. Ask the lender questions. Did you really pre-qualify this person? Did you pull credit from all 3 credit bureaus? So very important. Let's go ahead and do the active under contract, and then I want you to start guessing the pending active under contract at 484. This is now your turn. Let's go ahead and get 5 guesses for the pending. 5 pending guesses. As soon as we get the 5 pending guesses, I will click on the pending and we will see how many pending properties. Let's go ahead and get 5 guesses. Stacy Morales starts us at 390, fairly bullish. Rob comes in at 282. Olivia at 275. Melanie at a very bearish 173. Daniel, a little bit right down the middle at 302. We've got our 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. How many pendings? Ooh, you all, you know what? I'm very encouraged. 259 pendings. This is not bad. It does put us at the 0.55 ratio, which means we're going to end closer to that 0.7. I also expect this to go up to 0.7 because of the pending laggards that we always see over the next few weeks. So that's going to put us right around that 0.7. That does put us in that tangible increase in inventory where inventory keeps on going up. We're going to go over the number of active listings. just so you can see just how many listings are currently in the market. Let's go ahead and look at some of the historical here. So already, year over year, we are up 7.4% on the number of new listings. And we're not even done with the day. We can expect another 50 or so listings come on the market, 50 to 75 between now, 10:15 a.m. and 11:59 p.m., which means we're going to hit the double digit. Same thing we had last week, a double digit increase on the number of new listings coming on the market. Less price drops. 2 weeks ago, 141 less price drops year over year. What we're doing here is we're comparing the exact same week last year. And then so far, we have 75 less price increases this past week than exactly the same week last year. 91 more price drops. But take a look at the previous week, 300 more price drops. 16 more back on the market. And here's what's happening. Take a look at you all going all the way back to April. We've got less pendings going under contract, less properties going under contract this year than last year. The one outliner that we had was right here, the week of May 27th through June 3rd. We had a nice little bump right there in the number of active under contract and pending. Unfortunately, that was erased over the past 2 weeks. This data will change, especially this past week. So let's focus on the past 2 weeks. So we've got an 11.9% drop on the number of properties that went pending from June 3rd all the way through June 10th. And then the following week, June 10th, all the way through June 17th, we've got the 15.9% drop on the number of properties that went pending. This is, look at the difference. I mean, we've got a drop of 15.8 and an increase of 11.2 new on the market. That's what's going to give you that ratio. Last year, same week, 0.89 ratio. This year, 0.69. And that puts us right in between, like I said, the tangible and the whole substantial increase in inventory. We don't get a substantial increase in inventory unless we have a 5 in front of it. And it's a sustained 5, meaning when we update this data 6 weeks down, you've got a 5. That's when inventory just absolutely skyrockets. We are not there, but we are seeing that tangible increase in inventory every week, more competition. Let's take a look at a few more things. You can see the new listing to pending ratio dropping right there, and that's, interest rates dropped, and yet the new listing to pending ratio dropped. So it's interesting things happening in the housing market right now that we should have seen more demand for housing with rates having gone down. I would attribute 90% of that to seasonality. Our selling season, not your individual selling season. We always have to separate your individual production with the overall market pulse. And we are entering a slowdown of the market simply because of the seasonality of real estate. Our market peaked in March this year. Those closings happened April into May. So between now and the end of the year, we can expect less activity in the overall broader market. And we can see the new listing to pending ratio continuing to go down. And let's go ahead and let's start updating the monthly information. We have in the 6-county area, Melanie Price said, I always feel the slowdown in July. You're absolutely right, Melanie. We're just a few days away from July. And you get July 4th. Is July 4th in a weekend right now? Let's take a look at the calendar. What's going on here? When is July 4th? Is that a weekend this year? Okay, no, it's a Thursday. Oh, so this is like, are we going to have a meeting July 5th? What do y'all think? Do we have a meeting July 5th? We're going to do a vote on that. I'm fine having a meeting because I'm going to be out the whole week next week. So it's probably a good idea for us to have a meeting July 5th. Okay, we've got 2 people saying yes. The 2 people that matter said yes. No meeting on the 4th. Well, it's Thursday, so we're never going to have a meeting on the 4th. We're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to have a meeting on July 5th. So there we have it, July 5th. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to have a meeting on July 5th because I'm going to be gone the whole week next week. I fly out to Edmonton on July 7th on Sunday, and then I come back like a week later. And then even like the following week, I'm going to be in Ogden, Utah. So it's on the schedule. I announced this a long time ago. There are 13,333 active listings within the 6-county area. Sarah, I noticed you unmuted yourself. Go for it.
Yeah, sorry to sidetrack. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but any thoughts on whether we may see an uptick in activity from buyers agents in the next month or so? I feel like we may this the upcoming changes may alter what normally happens during these months. I wouldn't necessarily say this to a seller, but I think we can all speak to like maybe some of those buyers that are on the cusp. We would certainly have some motivation to get out there and start showing them some houses maybe before big changes and things get complicated.
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I'd say for the most part, for a vast majority of people, they're not living and breathing this information like we are. And the MLS is still going to display compensation up until August, towards the second or third week of August. We don't know the cutoff date quite yet. Of course, our work is going to change dramatically because we're going to have to reach out to the listing agent to see what they are paying as far as compensation. What I don't think is going to happen is where buyers are going to say, oh my goodness, if I don't go under contract right now, I'm going to have to pay this 3% commission come August, September. In my personal opinion, that's not going to happen. Buyers are not going to pay that. It's not going to happen. So buyers are like, well, no, I'm just going to find someone that's either going to work for less or I'll just contact the listing agent directly. That's what I think is going to happen. So I don't think there's going to be any bump in activity because of what's happening with this whole NAR commission lawsuit. Does that make sense?
It does. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got one question. Who is our backup if we have questions for a broker? You can always contact my dad, Earl Price, 512-963-4092. But, y'all, when I'm out of town, I'm also available. So, send me a text. I publish everything, publish the stats, answer phone calls, respond to emails, respond to phone calls. So Dan doesn't really take any time off. I think the last time I took off was like 400 and some days ago. Last time I actually took off the entire day. So I'm fine. I love my job and I don't ever feel like you all are harassing me. If you are, I'll let you know. Like, hey, you're kind of harassing, and we'll just have that very friendly conversation. So unless I approach that topic and I say that you're harassing me, then you're not. So yeah, just reach out. It's not a big deal. Like when I'm off, there's a lot of like downtime whenever. I take no vacation. I basically am the chauffeur and equipment manager for a very demanding child. So, it's really not time off. I just get to work remotely. So I should say I'm not off that week. I am working remotely, waking up at 2:00 in the morning to get all my work done and then getting work done throughout the day. So that's really what it is. I'm working remotely that week. So thank you for asking that clarifying question, but there's no slow down here. Okay, let's go ahead and start updating the new information. Before we do that, actually, I'm going to update the pending. This is going to go up a little bit, not sure by how much, but let's go ahead and just get this updated. This is going to be for the month of May, and that's going to be 1,992, 1,992. There we have it. And let's start updating this month's data. It is the 24th, so we've got really lots of accurate information that we can rely on. So far this month, 3,536 new listings. Price increase. Oh, only 488. Really interesting. Let's take a look at price drops. What's going on with price drops? Oh my goodness. I hope you're sitting down. 5,639, 92%. We have not seen 92% since September at 95%. So we're at 92% price drop. Last time we saw anything close to that is going to be September 2022 at 95%. Let's take a look at back on the market, see what's going on with this so far this month. We are at 656, 19% back on the market. We have to go all the way back to January. That was 22% back on the market. Active under contract. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, 1534. And let's take a look at pending so far this month. And that's going to be 1146. Oh, 0.64. Ooh-wee, 0.64 you all so far this month. And this is pretty darn accurate. We're 24 days into the month. I'm just grateful that we don't have a 0.5 in front of it, but boy, it's close to that substantial increase in inventory. And you can see right here the difference, 1,512, which is why inventory is increasing. Keep in mind, a little bit of a refresher here, is that a 1 ratio is that perfect market equilibrium. So let's just say you start with 10,000 listings and you end the month at a 1 ratio. That means you end the month at 10,000 listings, right? And let's just say that 5,000 listings came on the market. That means that 5,000 listings left the market. Not the same listings, of course, but it's just ratios that we're looking at right here. When you've got a 1.1 ratio, that means that, 1,000 listings came on the market, 1,100 left the market, which means that the 10,000 listings that you started with is now at 9,900 because you borrowed from existing inventory. You depleted inventory because you've got a higher demand. So therefore, active listings go down. Well, the opposite is true. If you start with 10,000 and you come in at a 0.9 ratio, that means that you're now, instead of 1,000 listings being taken from the market where 1,000 came on the market, 900 left the market. So you go from 10,000 to 10,100. Well, now you got a 0.64 ratio. And imagine 5,000 homes come on the market and you've got a 0.5 ratio. That means that 2,500 homes were added to the market. And when we go all the way back to January 2023 and we add everything, that puts the sum as 17,359. So far this year, that puts us at 8,086. This is where I say that once you start hitting that 0.6 ratio, look at that, 2,130. So far this month, 1,512. Inventory really creeps up really fast when you've got ratios like this. Let's take a look at closed. We're at 2,026. Let's go to withdrawn. I am noticing more and more withdrawn. We are already at 556. And let's take a look at expired. We're at 198. Let me go ahead and just move this out of the way so that I can print this as a PDF and we can review some additional charts and graphs. From there, we're going to take a look at active inventory, type of market. We're going to look at the economic calendar. We're going to see what's going on with the news this week and how that's going to affect the bond market. But just give me 1 second so I can go ahead and publish this as a PDF so we can review lots of really cool graphs, specifically how many pendings have gone, how many properties have gone pending cumulative between January and now. Let me go ahead and just fast forward through this. So month over month comparison, we already have 198 more active listings on a month over month comparison. That's active listings. We've got 1,905 less new listings. We're not going to beat the new listings. 92% price drops is a good marketing point for buyers. Well, let me just clarify the price drops. So what the 92% is, it's the difference between, so out of everything that either went up or down in price, what percentage went down? That's what that means. Okay, so when you look at the number of properties that have had a price drop, That right there can be found. That can be found right here, and that's 52.4%. So out of everything that's under contract, 52.4% have had a price drop. So far this month, out of everything that either went up or down on price, 92% went down on price. Does that make sense? So that's where that 92% comes from. So I completely agree with you in the fact that, yeah, buyers have a lot more options right now. Buyers can be way more aggressive, way more assertive, and that's certainly a good thing for buyers. Difference between new and pending so far, 1,512. You can see right there the difference, 1,512. When we take the difference between the new and the pending so far for the month of June, this is every June going all the way back to the year 2000. We already beat last June at 1,277. So far, we're at 1,512. When you look at the difference between new and pending last year, there's that 1,277. So far, we're at 1,512. I don't think we're going to beat 2,130 from last month. Last month was 2,130. I don't think we're going to beat that. But when you look at the new listing to pending ratio, last year we were at 0.77. Right now, we're at a 0.64. Let's keep on going. When you look at the ratio so far this month at 0.64, a little bit less than last year at a 0.77, just a tad less than last month. Let's keep on looking at active per 100,000 population. We are 3.5% below average on the number of active properties per 100,000 people. I really like this graph, because we can say that we've got the highest number of active properties on record, and it is true. And yet we are way far off from the single highest number, which was 2008 at 804 active properties per 100,000 people. So we're still below average when you adjust it based on population. Number of new listings last month was just an unbelievable month. When you look at the number of new listings at 5,441, that was a record May. We only had 1 month that had a higher number of new listings, and that was June of 2022. When you look at the number of new listings for the month of June, this is so far for the month of June. So far, we've had 3,536. No way we're going to beat that 6,231. That was a record high 2 years ago. We are going to beat the 4,701. I'd say we're going to get very close to 2021 at 5,177. Now, cumulative number of new listings, when you add everything that's come in the market, January, February, March, April, May, June, everything, we now have a record year at 26,573. That is 11.4% more than last year and 19.6% above average. When you look at back on the market, we're exactly where we were last year. Let's start taking a look at some pendings. Pendings for the month of June. We are 31.5% below average, but we're June 24th, so we can expect this number to go up. It's not going to reach last year's number at 4,293. No way it's going to reach that. I expect the number of pending properties for the month of June to settle right around the 3,900 to 4,000. No way it's going to cross 4,200. When you look at the cumulative number of pending properties, all of January, February, March, April, May, and so far in June, 9,109.8. Cumulative number of pending properties per 100,000 people. If this number does not improve dramatically, it's going to be the worst year on record. But we want to stay away from that. I do expect this number to go up. Where is it going to land? I would say it's going to beat 2009. I'm going to go ahead and make a prediction that it's going to beat 2011. It will not beat 2023. I expect the cumulative number of pending properties per 100,000 people to be better than '09, better than 11, not better than 2023. That's what I expect. Let's keep on going right here. We've got the active minus pending for the month of June. We are very close to that record 2010 at 11,290. We're currently at 10,653. When it's all said and done, in my opinion, it will beat 2010. And then take a look at cumulative withdrawn plus expired. We are now ahead of 2023. And we are slightly under the historical average, only 0.8% under historical average. Let's focus on closed right now. So far this month, 2026 properties have closed. Are we going to beat 2023? The answer is absolutely not. We are not. I don't even think we're going to reach 3,000. If we do, it's going to be really close, but we're going to be under 3,143. On the cumulative side of things, when you account for population, 603.3 properties have closed per 100,000 people, cumulative from January all the way to June. That is down 20.2%, down 7.1% compared to last year. We're not going to beat last year. When you look at everything that is pending, a property does not close if it doesn't go pending. So when you look at the new list into pending ratio and you look at all the properties that are pending, let me go back right here. So withdrawn, expired, active minus pending, pending. There we have it. When you see that pendings are down compared to last year, why would solds be up compared to last year? So we have to further decrease the number of sold properties, because if something doesn't go pending, it doesn't sell. So not only do we have an increase in back on the market, but we have a decrease in pending, which means we're going to have a further decrease in sold. So I do not expect number of sold properties to beat last year simply because of the pending properties, and also because we are noticing an increase in back on the market. Let's take a look at the ratio. We're at a 0.75 right now for the entire year. So when you take a look at everything that's come on the market, we've had 26,573 new homes come on the market so far this year. That's from January 1st all the way to today, a few minutes ago. 4,093 back on the market, 15%, 11,858 active under contract, 11,161 pending, total 23.19, 48% are pending as opposed to active under contract, and that's going to give us a ratio of a 0.75. That's dramatically lower than 2 years in a row where we had a 0.83 ratio. And once again, you all, this definitely puts us in that tangible increase in inventory. And you can see the ratio right here, 0.75. We have to go all the way back to 2010 to get a ratio that's under 0.75. 2011, we had a 0.76. 2010, 0.63. 09, 0.68. 08, 0.63. So far, we've got a 0.75. Let's take a look at inventory. We have, as of this morning, 15,267 active listings on the market. 130 more than Friday, 241 more than a week ago, Monday, 814 more than a month ago. That's going to give us a 5.63% month over month increase and 30.5% more than a year ago. We currently have 4,884 pending properties, one more than Friday. That's exciting. but we are down 8% year over year. Activity index at a fairly chilly 24.2%. That's going to give us months of inventory of 5.38. Let's take a look at special listing condition. And you all, I want to bring your attention to this right here. Oh, right there. What do you notice with this number? Right there. Keeps going up. Keeps going up. I am noticing, and look at the pendings, by the way, 12 pending short sales. But I am noticing this number right here just go up and up and up. Something to be aware of. Something to be aware of. When you look at the activity index at 24.2, months of inventory at 5.38, inventory is up 30.5% year over year, exactly same time last year. We had 11,699 active listings, exact same day. Today, we have 15,267. On the pending side of things, we had 57 or 5307 last year, 4884 this year. Activity index, we were at 30.8% last year. We're at 24.2%. And months of inventory, we were at 4.05 last year. We're currently at 5.38 months of inventory. So this is 5.38 right here. This is right there. It rounds up to 5.4. So this is where we are on inventory. We don't cross a neutral, or we're currently in a neutral market. We don't cross a buyer's market until we have more than 7 months of inventory. The last time we were in a buyer's market was October of 2010. That was the last time that we were in a buyer's market. Now let's take a look at 2007. We were at 5.1 months of inventory. And then all of a sudden, we just went from 5.1 to 7 almost overnight, right? 5.1, 4.9, 4.5. And then we roll into the 2008, 5.8, 6, 3, 7, 9, 1, 2. And that was the record high inventory for that year. Then it got better, back to 7.1. Then it got better, and then it just crushed, right? 8.5. So the question is there a possibility that we are here? Right? It's like we're just at the, we're just hit 5.4. Right? I mean, what if we're like in 2007 timeframe? Food for thought, right? Just food for thought. I mean, this kind of bounced up and down, and then it just kind of shot up. And then, of course, we had a just really nice big market correction, got into the fours. But it would not be outrageous when we look at short sales going up. It would not be outrageous for us to say, wow, there's just really a lot of evidence that says that this is really close to 2007. The question is, what leading indicators are you looking for, Dan? Well, the two leading indicators, well, let's say three top leading indicators. And I'm going to go from the earliest leading indicator to like a lagging leading indicator. Number one, mortgage activity. That's going to be your number one leading indicator. You go to Insight and Statistics, you scroll down, you go to MBA Purchase Index, and there we are. We're currently at 146. If people don't apply for a loan, they don't buy real estate, bottom line. And we are still kind of right there on, record low. That's a leading indicator. We have to go all the way back to 1995 to get a MBA Purchase Index that is lower than where we are right now. That's number one. Number two, it's going to be the activity index, pending divided by active plus pending. And when we look at the activity index, let's go back here and let's go find the activity index. We're seeing it kind of go down quite a bit earlier than usual. When we look at this right here, activity index, we're currently at 24.2. Now, the last time we were at 24.2 was, kind of back in October, mid-October. We are right here, even before July. This is when all of the closings are supposed to happen with the market having peaked in May. But the market did not peak in May. Last year, the market peaked April 29th. This year, the market peaked March 21st. So a lot of people were like, well, I'm just going to put my house in the market to match the market peak of May. And then all of a sudden they put their house on the market in May and it's just like, those buyers are gone. They bought in March. So we had a very early selling season this year as a market. Like, we always have to preface this with as a market, because I am talking to individuals, you all, and you're like, hey, I'm getting showings on my listing. I'm going under contract. Yeah. Don't look at the market and be like, oh my goodness, doom and gloom. No, this is the market. Like, we have to stack your pipeline no matter what. Stack your pipeline. But this is what's happening with the market, right? There are 5 factors that affect the saleability of the house: price, condition, competition, the overall market, right? And what's the other one? Price, location. So 5 factors affect the saleability of a house: location, condition, price, competition, and the market, right? This is like this mysterious, the market has its own way of thinking and all that. Can't really predict it. Very nearly impossible to predict the market. But when we look at the market, it peaked in March. So those are the leading indicators that I'm looking at. And for me, it's been tried and true for 20 years. Tried and true for 20 years. Very good question. That's what I'm looking at. So that's what's happening with inventory right now. So we're currently at a 5.4 months of inventory. When you look at the number of active listings, we're currently at 15,564 across the entire MLS. This right here goes all the way back to January of 2005. The other thing, I posted this on Facebook and I focused on zip code. This is the city. Still, out of the top 30 cities that we track, 19 or 63% are still in a seller's market. 4 or 13% are in a neutral market, and 23% are in a buyer's market. And you can see that graph right there. Now, the interesting thing about this one that I want to bring your attention is that we've got all of these that are I'd say a month away from crossing into a neutral market. But we still have a ways to go for these to cross into a buyer's market. But there are a lot of cities that are just at the precipice of crossing into a neutral market. What about zip code? Zip code is interesting because 57% of the 75 zip codes that we track are in a seller's market. But these two are gaining steam really fast, especially the buyer's market, really gaining steam. You've got 01 at 11 months of inventory, 21 at 10.5, 24 at 10.3. So let's take a look at the graph, and we have some that are just about in a buyer's market. We've got 4.6 just about in a buyer's market. We've got Marble Falls. We've got 4.1 very close to a buyer's market. And then take a look at these. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'd even say 6 that are about 2 to 3 weeks away from a neutral market position, especially when you look at the activity index for these zip codes. So let's take a look at the activity index right now. We've got the city of Austin at a 19.5% activity index, which means this right here, which is a lagging indicator, has to go up. It's going to settle somewhere around the 5.5. Keep in mind, when we cross into the what, are we in a neutral market? What do we have to cross? Well, we have to cross 5. And we're currently at 4.9. So City of Austin is still in a seller's market when you look at the lagging indicator based on activity that happened in the past. 61 to 90 days ago, 1,011 properties sold. 31 to 60, 1,065. 0 to 30, 914. And yet the number of active listings keeps going up, and we only have 1,179 properties that are currently pending. And then you look at the price of the properties that are pending. 786 average, 599 median. But look at the median active, 650, 1,054 of the active. So what's going pending? The cheaper, very cheap, affordable 786. That's what's going pending. So this number is going to cross into the neutral market territory really shortly. So we've got quite a few zip codes that are just, cities and zip codes for that matter, that are just inches away from a neutral market. 78701. Boy, oh boy. 3.7% activity index, you all. 209 active properties currently on the market. Only 8 pending. Gosh, 3.7 activity index. I mean, that is just, take a look at the sold. 16 sold, 61 to 90, 23, 31 to 60, 12, 0 to 30, and we've got 8 pending, which means in 30 days, this is gone. These become sold, not all 8, but a portion of the 8. I max out my months of inventory at 11. I just max out 11. For me, I don't care if there's 50 months of inventory or 11. It's 11's the max. One is it's a way to just equalize all the charts. So when you look at the actual chart, let me go to type of market, and here we have it. We've got months of inventory, and you see these at 11. If I allowed it just to go up to 20 months of inventory, then these will basically disappear. But when you really cross 10 months of inventory, it's a market that's just not moving. That's what it is. So I just max it out at 11. Makes sense to do that. Let's go back to the 78701, 3.7, just really, really amazing. But when you take a look at the graph right here, number 1 zip code, Jarrow, at a very healthy 42.2 activity index. So you've got quite a few zip codes that are over the average, over the median. And let's take a look at the bottom. Look at the difference between 78701. The second slowest zip code in the entire area is 78735 at 3 times more activity than 78701. That's just really incredible. Sonia said, Jarrow's selling a lot in the low 200s, so that's driving demand. You're absolutely right. There's the affordability factor right there. We are noticing more and more properties that are priced within the 10th percentile. There are 96 properties currently available in the city of Austin that are under $236 a foot and under $350,000. 96 properties. That's going to be your lower 10th percentile. Gerald, take a look at that. The lower percentile is going to be 244.2. John D, you've got a question. Go for it.
No, I'm sorry, I don't have a question.
Oh, that's all right. I just noticed you unmuted yourself. Good stuff. So take advantage of this new listing to pending ratio. But right now, let's go ahead and just talk pricing. And we, of course, are up $12,342, 2.1% month over month. We did go negative year over year. We were not negative on Friday. We are negative right now. What is my prediction for the next, what day is today? 24th? What do we have, like a week left? We have 24th. Yeah, we have exactly 1 week left. My prediction, this goes red. Right here, month over month goes red. I don't think the median's going to go red. This is a really high number, 3.6% month over month. We're obviously going to be red year over year on both. But my prediction, this $12,000 is going to evaporate. That's going to be my prediction. It's going to go red by a really, really small amount, very similar to October 2022, where it went red by only $1,500. It's going to be really, really, really low. But I just don't see an environment where this does not go red. If for some reason I am wrong, then it's going to be a very short positive or very small positive. That's what it's going to be. Now, what about the peak of the market? We can see right here, we've got Sonia saying, is that because the cheaper homes sell at the end of the month? You're absolutely right, especially new construction, especially what's moving the market. All of the VA, FHA, low down payment buyers, they want to close at the very last day of the month, last 2-3 days of the month. This month, though, they can't close Monday because Monday is already the 1st, and they can't close on the 29th and 30th. So this week is going to be a very telling week. We're going to have a lot of closings, 26, 27, 28. That's going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I can expect that by the time our weekly stats are available on Thursday, and then I do another fresh update on Friday. And then, of course, you're going to get another fresh update this following Monday. We can expect that number to go down with all of the closings that are going to occur here in the next few days. Let's keep on going, you all. One of my favorite charts right here. We've got the tracking the median price versus 24 months prior. We are at negative 11.9%, an improvement versus last month. When you track the median sold price compared to 36 months prior, we are down 1.8%, holding steady compared to last month. So that is going to be the good thing, is that we are still holding steady on price. You can see right here that we maxed out on May 22nd at 681,939 on the average sold price. Went down really fast, had a recovery, went down, had a recovery. And what's going to happen in the future? This is going to happen in the future. I can assure you of that. Who the heck knows? I have absolutely no idea. But I'll tell you what I think. And I'm going to use this to tell you what I think. I'm going to show you two resources. I'm going to go to Insight and Statistics. I'm going to go to Affordability. Let me go ahead and just download this resource. This was updated this morning so that you can have the latest and greatest. Let's go ahead and get this downloaded so we can fill up the entire screen and you can see the entire thing. I realize it's 10:57, but I just enjoy talking to you all way too much. We haven't talked about the bond market quite yet. We certainly will do that. So what's my prediction? I'd say we're still at least 12.63% overvalued when you look at the median sold price to income ratio. We've already gone down 20.8%, but we're still 12.63% overvalued. And then the last one that I want to bring to your attention is this one right here. According to this, we're roughly 10.86% overvalued. I expect the median price to drop down right around this figure, 420,148. We're at 471,358. So I expect another $51,210 correction based on today's dollar. So even though this went up, look at that. I mean, we got really close right there. And then, of course, it went back up. Very normal. This is what happens with markets. You have the dead cat bounce. You've got the bull trap. Very normal when you look at not only equity markets, but real estate market. There's always just a little bit of an increase. But we're currently at 471. So when you look at both of these predictions, if I were going to predict anything, which we're not even allowed to predict anything, I can expect an additional 10.86% correction into the market, totaling $51,210. Now, the one thing that we need to keep in mind is that markets tend to overcorrect. It is very, very normal for markets to overcorrect. Does the dead cat bounce mean no bounce at all? Yeah, It's interesting. It's fascinating. It's like there's always like this. The market likes to trick people, right? It's like, oh wow, we just hit bottom, and then turns out it was not a bottom. But markets tend to overcorrect, so it would not be outside of the realm of possibility. If right now this is more of like a 2007 marker, then this absolutely will overcorrect. Stuff like this happens all the time. You can see this by looking at this. This is the income needed to purchase the median property using 30.3. This is the 2008 corrected down. The market did really well from 2012 all the way to 2019. We were in a slight correction pre-COVID. And then, of course, this is where we are right now. Just completely blew all the fundamentals out. And you can even see right here, look at the income required to purchase the median property. So there's the GFCE. There's the correction. There's the run up in real estate. There's the correction. And then this is the reality that we're dealing with. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and take a look at the bond market, you all. Lots going on today. We are up 1.3 basis points. Not bad when you look at, the context over the past week or so. We are just slightly over where we were last week. So not bad. I'll take this. A little bit of a chaotic week last week. Lots and lots going on. Way drop and then a huge increase and then a drop and then another increase. Let's go ahead and take a look at Robert's rate sheet. I'm so grateful that Robert continues to send me the rate sheets, and we are still at the 6.625. Very, very grateful for that. 6.625. Let's take a look at the economic calendar for the week and let's see what's going on. 2 bond auctions just happened, both of them better than the previous. This is fantastic news for us. Stock market's doing very well today. We've got a lot of commodity prices releasing today. Lumber is just going down like absolute crazy what's happening with lumber. And let's take a look at this entire week. What can we expect? We've got house price index tomorrow, 0800 hours. Once this is released, we're going to be able to update the Insight and Statistics National Market Index. This right here, we're going to update the National Market Index at 8 a.m. tomorrow, right before our mentorship meeting at 10 a.m. with the information that's going to be released tomorrow. We've got consumer confidence. That's going to be important. We have Wednesday building permits, new home sales, 5-year auction. On Thursday, we've got PCE. This is inflation, personal consumption expenditure. That's going to be important, very important. We've got GDP sales, what's going on with the overall health of the economy. We've got the bank stress test result at 15:30, which is 3:30. This is going to be on Thursday. And then on Friday, we've got more inflation numbers. So that's what's going on. And you all, that's all I have. And of course, we can never forget that tonight is the Stanley Cup. So, we got that going on. Have no idea who's going to win. I don't care who wins because I like both teams. I want the Panthers to win because I like them, but I also want the Oilers to win because I love McDavid and I think their coach is awesome. And of course, we've got the presidential debate on Thursday. So, I'm going to break out the popcorn, and that ought to be highly entertaining, to say the least. They ought to pay-per-view that. So that ought to be fantastic. So lots going on this week. PC data coming out Thursday, Friday. GDP data coming out on Thursday. So very important week. Lots going on. Well, you all, that's all I have. It is 11:04. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints, please let me know. I want to remind you that we do have our mentorship meeting tomorrow at 10 a.m. live here at the office. On Wednesday, we're going to focus again, and we're going to keep on focusing on all of the contract changes that we are noticing that it's happening to us. So I'm excited for Wednesday. That's going to be over Zoom. And of course, we have a live meeting on Friday. And if there are no questions, comments, concerns, criticisms, or complaints, thank you all so very much for joining. Super appreciate it. I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.